This is going to be, in my opinion, the most difficult thing for us to deal with over the next year. For the longest time, the left got effed over. I mean, the genuine left got effed over following this specific pattern. The people we elect tell us we're working behind the scenes. Go with us on this for a second, because we're doing important things and you could screw it up by making this political right now. We give them time. We say, okay, leaders, we'll give you time. And then we find out that behind the scenes, what they were working to do was fuck us. Was to do the opposite of what they said they were trying to do. To be continued. I'm going to pause the recording, and only the live stream will know what was going on. Okay, false alarm, she's fine. So anywho, that space during which we are told to stand by and be patient, that's when negotiation used to happen that would F us over. The reason it's so insidious, the reason I will despise Nancy Pelosi until past the point that I am urinating on her grave, is because it's based off a real thing. Genuinely, sometimes statecraft has to happen behind the scenes. I don't like it, but it is necessary sometimes. Think back to the Cuban Missile Crisis. Who knows what was being said behind the scenes? But I promise you, we don't. And that's the way it's got to be. It's not because that's the way decent people should behave. It's because sometimes you have to deal with people who aren't decent. Netanyahu comes to mind. Think if you were dealing with Trump, if you are an official trying to negotiate with Trump, are you going to get what you are going for only using the tactics of decent people? No, there's egos to consider. And there is national security, blah, 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 and, oh, we've got a plan to go over these people next month, and so on and so forth. I agree. I hope that behind the scenes, Biden is not doing the old school Democrat thing. I think we are likely to get a progressive president within the next 12 years. I don't think it'll be our very next president. I hope it will be, but I don't think it will be. But I do think genuinely a progressive president is on the way. Simply because that's where the nation is going. I think we're about to have a nation full of neoliberals on the right, which we have already, but neoliberal Democrats on the right, and progressives on the left, and we have to acknowledge that we don't have a progressive president now. We have a president who cut his teeth when it was understood that the smart and sensible thing to do is quietly do all your work behind the scenes, tell the left to be patient, and tell the right that they're pretty and wonderful. He's growing out of that, believe it or not. I think he's the best president we've actually had in office in my lifetime. I'll say that. I really don't care for him all that much. I really don't. I want the person we replace him with eventually to be better. But credit where it's due, he's done an all right job. I point to the negotiations with the rail workers, their union. We thought he effed us on that, didn't we? But then quietly, a couple months later, what did we find out? Well, he hadn't stopped negotiating. He truly didn't give up on that, and he did get the rail workers just about everything they were asking for. his way can work. If you want evidence that it's not the way things should work, well, we had the Norfolk Southern East Palestine crash happen in between when Biden appeared to wrap negotiations and when Biden got the rail workers what they wanted. There are people that will have cancer from that. Whether we're able to prove it or not, there are people that will have cancer from that crash that didn't need to have it. That's why I want a progressive president. However, let's acknowledge Biden is using an old method of negotiation right now that really requires the left put their faith in it. May this be the last president that does that. Because the other time I can think of us putting our faith in a Democrat president or one of their appointees and waiting and waiting and waiting only to find out that they never had any intention of representing our interests at all, that would be with the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. It was a full year of sitting on our hands before anybody chimed in, really, and said, Garland, why do you look surprised at January 6th? I don't know if you guys remember, but there was shock coming from Merrick Garland at some of the testimony for January 6th, followed by shock from the rest of us that he didn't already know that information, followed by reasonable questions like, what the fuck have you been doing for a year after a coup? Person in charge of justice in the United States? Nothing? You've been doing nothing at all? Oh, no. Yeah, please, give us another press conference about how you harassed a bunch of Muslims. Please do. Oh, did you get a mail bomber? I just assumed you were doing that anyway. So, those are just broad thoughts on the method of negotiation Biden does use, appears to be using right now in Gaza, and why I don't like it, but am playing along with it. He has earned my, well, yeah, he's earned my begrudging playing along with in some of these matters. But in this case, the real reason I'm playing along with it is there is no choice that I see anyway as of yet. I don't see another option, a better option for stopping Netanyahu before he just levels Gaza. I wish I had one. And if you guys have one, fucking tell me, please. I will. Let's do that. In the meantime, hopefully Biden gives such good back massages that Netanyahu forgets he wants to do a genocide.